Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Be That Lawyer podcast. I am Steve Fretzin. And if you're new to the show, then not welcome back, but welcome to the show. This is a show all about helping you to be that lawyer, confident, organized, and a skilled rainmaker. And we spare no expense to make sure that we're bringing on the best guests to get you the most takeaways so that every single day can be your best day and live your best lawyer's life. Want to just remind everybody, we recently updated the name after much thought and contemplation from Coach's Corner to Future Rainmakers. So check out Future Rainmakers podcast. I'm really there to tell you and share with you what are the best kept secrets that I'm working with my clients on. I'm even bringing on clients to kind of share their experiences. So you can really start to plan and execute in a similar fashion to the way my clients work every day. Obviously, it's a little lighter, but it is highly tactical and actionable, which is I think what you guys are really looking for. So check out that. Just Google it or check that out on your Apple phone or whatever you want to do. All right, blah blah blah. Enough about that. Rachel, how you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you, Steve?
I'm doing great, doing great. You just got back from Sedona, and we were talking about what a wonderful place that is. Wonderful, fantastic. Just, I don't see stars here in Chicago. Like, there's so much light pollution. You don't see stars, and I long for that. I long for looking up and just seeing the universe.
I couldn't have said it better, Steve. It was like we have a few in the skies in the DC metro area, but there it was
It's nothing
nothing.
like it, right?
Like, no,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah. I
beautiful.
told my wife, I said, we need to go up to Iceland. I think they've got that and the Aurora Borealis and all that kind of stuff. But I definitely want to get back to looking at the stars.
Yeah.
Um, let's jump in. I think speaking of stars and physics and whatever and God. Okay, here's your quote of the show. God gave all the easy problems to the physicists. James March. Welcome to the show and tell us why that's your quote of the show.
Well, because I work with people who are fascinating and complex and like, you know, a never-ending source of fun and chaos and inner conflicts and external I mean, we're all a hot mess and
Yeah.
in the best of ways and unpacking that, intentions and actions and impact. And I mean, that's kind of what I teach my clients to do for themselves. And then if I'm looking at the organization as opposed to an individual across the organization, and it's not easy. I do love the Viktor Frankl quote as well, but this one is less known and speaks to kind of the science and the art of what we do when we're working with other humans. So
Yeah. And I think, there's systems and there's physics and there's things that are repeatable that are constant. And then there's all of the chaos that
yeah.
surrounds it. And so I think people that can find, and I think we'll get into the weeds on this in a few minutes, but people that can find order and find systems tend to then be more successful and find that they can handle the chaos better. But that might be something to jump into in a few minutes. Let's also just introduce you so people know who you are and how you came to be. Everybody, Dr. Rachel Boehm is the founder of RB Strategies. Give us a little background in how you got to where you are today and working with organizations and law firms and things like that.
Yeah, sure. So, I run a modern change management firm, modern because for a few different reasons. One, specifically looking at people, so organizational behavior, individual behavior, how our head trash, if you will, our
Oh, I
mindsets,
love head trash. Yeah. I mean, I don't
um,
love it. I love that phrase, head trash. I use
yeah,
that all the
yeah.
time.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm stealing it from a few other folks because it's so beautifully descriptive. Um, how just all of those wires get crossed, right? Back to that quote. Particular in general, but also under times of change and stress. I mean, even good change, exponential growth, good change is scary. Change is scary by design. It, back in the day alerted us to like, is this a good berry or a deadly berry? I don't know. It's new, right? So there's reasons why we do what we do and how we react the way we react, but we are not like our brains are not updated enough for the world that we are currently in. And I'll try to pull back from the weeds there and save that for later. But when we look at organizational change, it is no longer just this kind of, oh, I'm going to do a restructuring. I'm going to do a riff. I'm going to merge or acquire or whatever. We do look at those business transitions, but we also look at the every second is whack-a-mole change,
Yeah.
which is more and more common. And so, when I'm working with my clients, it's either this change event, right? The merger, the acquisition, the more traditional change management trigger, and also left, right, two-stepping our way forward. Nobody knows what's going on, reactive. And sometimes, and I see this a lot with law firms, sometimes it's even under the best of management, it just is, it's a reactive industry.
Mm-hmm.
And other times it's not only is it a reactive industry, but also how we are managing it or managing people is exacerbating the issue.
And
So
so,
we,
but
yeah,
I think that's a great lead into what we talked about a few minutes ago. That
yeah,
it seems to me, and I've interviewed, John Morgan and other top managing partners, and the thing that in my book, Be That Lawyer,
yeah.
101 Top Rainmaker Secrets Growing Successful Law Practice, available on Amazon, um, bestseller, is systems, and the fact that if you have a system, if you can get the culture and the system together and have everybody rowing in the same direction, that while
Mhm.
there is chaos and while there are going to be, fire hoses in the mouth that happen and angry clients and internal things that happen, it's like you have something that you can fall back on. I'm just concerned that not enough law firms have that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think part of that too is, I use the phrase row in the same direction all the time because it's a great visual, and it speaks to the kind of the goal. But also remember that, like, if you were unpack it literally, right? Okay, great. Everybody's in the same boat. We've pushed off. We're rowing in the same direction. You have to keep managing it so that that continues. It's not like, great, we're in the boat. We've pushed off. We're going to be good forever. We
Yeah,
have the system. The system is always changing. The water is always moving. There's other boats you have to navigate around. You could have, your best people in the boat and go, actually, maybe that other boat looks better. Maybe I'll
yeah,
jump in
yeah,
there. So you have to keep your like culture is a verb. You have to keep creating it. You can't just go, cool, the action plan, we figured it out. The values are on the wall and we're done.
yeah. But it's interesting because I have a system called sales free selling that I provide to all my clients. And the personal injury attorneys I work with will say, well, this won't work for me because I'm dealing with, referral sources, or I'm dealing with consumers, not with B2B businesses and GCs and COs. And then the people that work in transactions and M&A will be like, oh, this won't work for me because I'm not. And I go, look, it's a system, but you have to take out of the system what is useful to you, and you need to customize it and personalize it to yourself. It should work for everybody, but you need to own it and tweak it in a way that's going to work, because the gears get dry and they need to be greased or whatever it might be that you need to do. So I think there has to be some flexibility within a system as well.
Agreed. Yeah, and part of it too is the consultants, the coaches who help people how to relearn how to think as opposed to just here's the plan to do. And so, that's another thing that on that list of why RB strategies is a modern change management. One of the the things that sets us apart is teaching our clients how to approach this to co-create solutions. My goal is to put myself out of business one client at a time,
Hmm.
as opposed to building dependence. So I want you to figure out how to do this work for yourself.
Yeah, I'm very
Not
aligned with that. That's
yeah,
wonderful.
not just like here's the one certification we have, or here's the one approach that we take for every client. If it doesn't work for you, something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
That's, I got some of my start in kind of the individual health and wellness fitness space. And I saw that all the time, even before that, as a consumer of it, and it's like, here's the plan. If this doesn't work for you, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're just a bad teacher. Mean, maybe both. Maybe I'm not showing up for the work, but if you're showing up and it's not working, we need to rethink the approach.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that, the perfectionist attorney, the risk averse attorney, there's all these things about attorneys that make them unique and butterflies in their space to some degree. But what they're all looking for, and maybe they're not looking in the right places, but they're kind of just looking and trying to figure out stuff for themselves because it's the I can do everything mindset, is trying to get the most out of their time, the most value to get ahead in the least amount of effort. And I think that systems and processes and language can help with that, but there's probably a lot of head games going on there too. Can you address that?
Yeah. So I share the goal of, and this, I steal this again from the health space, right? Of the least effective or I'm sorry, the most effective dose. I didn't say that quite right, but the idea being is that the least effective dose. Sorry, Steve. So basically, the concept is if I can get the results in, say, a 5-minute workout, why
Yeah.
would I make you do a 10-minute workout? Right?
Yeah.
So, taking that approach, what is the end goal that we are looking for? And if we can meet that in a certain way, then okay. What that, why that's hard for lawyers in particular is, you know, the personality, a certain personality type is typically attracted to law in the first place. And then the top percent of that people are the one that get through law school. And then the top percent of that are the people that sit for the bar and pass the bar. And then the top percent of that it becomes the associate, moves up the associate ladder into partnership, into. And so of the original, it's this tiny little, like the most extreme of those traits
Yeah.
typically get
Yeah.
all the way up. And that's then exacerbated by law firm cultures, by law school culture, by, working in America, capitalism, all of these things. And we still have this upper out mentality, still the billable hour, sometimes just the haunt of that. And even if your organization isn't using it, it's still kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
In that sense, like the ghosts of it. Um, this grind culture, the way we talk about leaders is like a single effort
Yeah.
rather than like all of the people that support us behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So there's like the traits, the innate, and then there's all the stuff that exacerbate that.
But I think there's a difference here too if we isolate business development as in rainmaking as a skill, right? That there are people who are super high functioning, super smart, super, progressive and wanting to grow and develop in their career. And they do move up the food chain from law school to associate to partner and based on their skills and maybe their communication and how good they are as an attorney.
Yeah.
Then there's this whole other skill set of business development that a percentage of a percentage, like now the sliver's getting even thinner as it relates to people that are willing to put time, effort, and energy into learning a skill that will allow them to make it rain and be that lawyer
Yeah.
as the show talks about. Um,
Yeah.
what's the mindset for that?
Well, I think it's kind of shared, right? What I think we were both getting towards, which is you have to kind of redefine not necessarily what peak performance is. And I prefer to even just say sustainable peak performance, like throw a little caveat there, because I think that's really the goal. The goal isn't, oh, let me just perform at my peak for a quarter or a year.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is let me continue to level up in my career for as long as my career is a career so that I'm not burning out or I don't get to the top of the mountain, so to speak, look down and go, this is awesome, but I have no one to share the view with
Mm-hmm.
because I've lost all my people along the
Yeah,
way.
yeah. You
So,
didn't have that. I mean, the word balance is I guess become like the dirtiest word.
yeah,
Work-life balance. Like if you even say that, people like get in your face are like, there's no such thing. Okay,
yeah,
I get it. All right. So what?
yeah.
So then how do we get peak performance and
With
not burn out?
Yeah, well, so yeah, and I say that too. Like my most common workshop for law firms, I just did it recently for a retreat, is like redefining peak performance. And what I say in the
Yeah.
beginning is like for any of you who are afraid that I'm going to say lower your standards is the answer, like trust me, I'm not. I'm a recovering perfectionist. Like
Yeah.
I just got my doctorate. Like I'm not that person. Um, but it's so it's not changing the goal. It's rethinking how we get the goal and acknowledging. So step one with this whole work-life balance redefining peak performance thing is acknowledging that like, oh, the path we thought we should be taking to get to this destination, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
actually isn't the right path. So same goal, peak performance, kick-ass career, like leveling up, be that lawyer, be the rainmaker. If that's the goal for you, that's the goal for you. You can still set it. It's just recognizing that like, oh, the tools I thought I needed actually aren't the right tools. What are the tools? Well, the tools are actually go to sleep. Get some sleep. Please, if you nothing else,
You get
go
nothing
to
else out of
bed.
today. Get some damn
Go to
sleep.
sleep. Take a freaking breath.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like a trigger. So here's a little exercise for everybody. Just it's an easy thing to do. Pick one cue. The cue I tell people is like if you're whenever you find yourself waiting, because if you're like me, you don't like to do it. So whenever you're waiting, your
Mm-hmm.
chance to speak at a red light for the subway, like whatever, just take an intentional breath.
Mm.
Inhale and exhale. Just attach it to that. You'll breathe a little bit more throughout the day. But beyond that, so recognizing, oh, I need to invest in myself to get to have the resources within me to meet the demands coming at me.
Yeah.
And this pulls from psychology across disciplines. It's the demands resources model. All the things coming at you, work or life, it's all life. I hate the term work-life balance. I think it's stupid. It's not helpful. Um, it's all life. It's work and non-work. All the things coming at you, you have to have the resources in you to meet them.
Yeah.
And you get that by investing in yourself, by going to sleep, by moving your body, by eating, nutritiously, by
Yeah.
having friends, by laughing, by filling your brain, by being challenged to a point.
Hey, everybody, do you ever wonder why top executives and athletes are so successful? It's typically because they have a coach, someone that is looking at them from the outside to identify their gaps, identify their potential. That's what I do. I'm Steve Fretzin, and I'm here to help you be that lawyer. If you're interested in a free consultation, click the link below and we'll get together and we'll identify where you can make improvements to be that lawyer. But then you actually have a life. I mean, again, if there's a lawyer on the deathbed, with the family, with no one around, or well, let's say with one person around, and they say, if I had only billed more hours, like I don't know, ever been said, right?
No,
Like that's not a life. That's a job, and that's something that you just working to like put yourself in the ground. We
yeah,
need to consider where we are, where we really want to go, and are we doing the proper things and bringing in the proper people and the proper tools, to your point, that are going to allow us to accomplish the thing. And I always say this too, like we have one freaking shot at this thing. You don't
yeah,
have 10 shots, you have one shot, and
yeah.
you can,
Not a dress rehearsal. Like
yeah,
it's
just
a thing.
how are you taking, and the other thing is people get, in, I get it. Like there's with money and investing and time and money, there's willing and there's able. And there are
Hmm.
people who are willing to invest and they're not able to invest. And sometimes it's a chicken or the egg. Like they need to get the money, to make the money. Like it's a tough situation. The one that bothers me are people that have the money. They're not willing to invest because they think it's going to me, and it is going to me, and it is going to you. We are the ones taking in the money, but they don't understand that the investment is in themselves, and that the investment is, what is that going to do in my life to change things for the better? And
Right.
and I think part of that might be someone's lack of a sales process, or sales free selling process. And for others, it may, because they're just selling somebody something versus letting them buy, right? And the others, they just have an issue with money in their brain about what that money could go towards, if not towards this, or I've never spent that much before. Like I think there's some head trash around money.
Yeah, oh, definitely. But there's also around capability and confidence in themselves,
Yeah,
right? So
that's
we
that's
look at
true.
like change and change fatigue. Like, are they
Yeah,
changing 50 things at once and they just can't, you
it's
know,
scary. Yeah,
it's scary. Are they afraid of success?
yeah.
Are they afraid of
They would
failure?
never admit that. No one admits I'm
No.
afraid of success, but I think
Yeah,
there's another famous quote about, what we're really afraid of is how powerful we could be.
Mm.
And
Mm.
that's maybe all subconscious, but I think we all have that. Like, I mean, how much more successful I feel like I'm doing great and happy and successful, like all the things that you would want to work. Like I
Yeah.
feel like I'm mostly there. Look, could everybody be even better? Sure. But like, do I want to run $100 million organization and have that kind of life in a private jet? No, I don't.
No,
I
I don't want
don't.
those kind of
And that's
problems.
okay. Like, what does success really mean? I want to spend
Well, we
time
have
with
to
my family and enjoy things.
yeah, we have to define that for ourselves. And I think one of the mistakes that we all do is not pausing at you know, even like once a year, but in those transition points of our life and go, has my definition of success changed? Am I at a new chapter in my life, right? Like even, there's that book, right? Like what got you here won't get you there.
Mm,
Well, what got you, say you got out of law school, you busted it, right? Early 20s, like mid 20s, you are just like, you don't care. You don't need to see your apartment because they're giving you food at the firm. You're working all the hours. It doesn't matter. You're saving up, you're saving up. Great. Now you're let's say you're now your partner level, senior partner level. You don't need like that. What that job requires is not the same as you're like starting off in your 20s,
Yeah.
right? And so even just whatever worked for you legitimately at an earlier phase of your career is not going to work for you at the new career level because it's a new career level. It's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
And also, you have changed, most likely, right? You've had regrets, you've learned along the way, you have new, different goals. You know, we don't, and if we just keep going without pausing to check in, hey, how have we changed? Do we still want this? We don't know to make, we keep going and we kind of live on autopilot.
Yeah. I get that. It's easy to do. We all have, habits, good and bad, and things that we get sort of stuck in that routine. And like people, especially like lawyers that are at bad firms with bad culture, and it's just easier to stay and suck it up than to the transition of change, of moving somewhere better. And that's scary. Or just the idea of learning business development, and that's going to take effort and time and energy. And I'm sort of okay where I am right now. I'm not great, but I'm okay now. My concern is the future, that people are staying in these humdrum sort of existences because it's so hard to change, but they're also not really thinking about like how crazy shit is out there. Pardon my French. Like it's
Yeah.
really crazy. And
Yeah.
every day the news is telling me something different that's going to impact people's future if they don't take stock and start making changes now.
I think yes. And one of the things then to make sure of is that you're not swinging, right? We just like avoid extremes is I think one of the big things, right? So you
Yeah.
don't want to be on autopilot, but you don't want to go, oh my God, it's
Yeah,
terrifying.
right, right. You don't have to, I'm going to move to Tahiti. I don't know that
Right.
you need to do
Yeah.
that, right?
No, it's like in that whole idea of because we've done some really great threads. So just to kind of pull some together for the listener, right? Checking in with yourself, learning how to think, not what to think, right? Building a system, and the system doesn't mean you have to do this exact thing for everybody every day for the rest of your life. It's okay, what is my system? I'm going to check in with myself once a quarter and the end of the year. I'm going to make sure that I'm redefining, am I happy? What does happiness even mean to you? Because it probably means something different to you than me, because I actually may not hate, but I just like the word happiness and the chase of it, and I can happy to explain why. But what do these words mean to me? How do I want to go about doing them? Am I still on track for that?
If you're a rainmaker and you're feeling like you're on an island, you don't have anyone to share your ideas with, solve problems with, you're going to want to check out my Rainmaker Roundtables. Click the link below and learn more.
Is what I am doing working,
Yeah.
right? Um,
But let me hit. Can I hit on something you said, because I
yeah,
think there's a lot, and I listen to a lot of great podcasts, and they're really highly educational, where they bring in top experts in all these different areas, and one that I've heard in the last, a couple times in the last year or two has been, happiness. And what is happiness, and how does someone know if they're really happy? Like sometimes I worry that I'm not happy because I can't remember everything. Meaning that I've been on trips, I've gone on golf trips, I've gone on great trips, I've
yeah,
helped great people, I've done wonderful things in my lifetime, I've had amazing meals, but I don't like remember them all, right? So if I'm not remembering things, then is that may mean I'm less happy than if I have all these great memories, like in a file cabinet where I can pull from them?
yeah,
Like that's, I'm generally like everyone that knows me knows I'm happy, and that I'm super happy most of the time.
yeah.
But that's the concern, that I'm like, because my memory isn't great, like, does that mean I'm not happy?
I mean, I would think no. I think that's a separate thing.
Yeah.
But so I did my dissertation on like part of it was like what it like happiness. So there's quick and dirty. You can read the whole thing if you want, but there's two ancient Greek, two definitions of well-being. It's like kind of the happiness hedonic, and then there's what we call eudaimonic. Psychological well-being is an often used measure. That's the one I used. Anyways, happiness is fleeting.
Feeling?
Fleeting.
A fleeting,
It's
fleeting.
by
Okay, I'm
design,
happy because
right?
I just ate this great, delicious
Right,
dessert, and then it's
right.
gone.
Right. I
Yeah,
got the promotion. Great. Like, and so if anybody hasn't heard of the term hedonic treadmill, go Google it. It's this idea that when you're chasing happiness, when you're chasing this dopamine hit, this idea of
yeah.
happiness, right? You get it, and then we reset our baseline. It's just what humans do. You can't
Hmm.
change that. It's how we are wired. So I think sometimes in the world, the layman's terms in mass media, we confuse like the terms are confused, happiness and well-being and contentment,
Mm-hmm.
joy. They're all
Yeah,
kind of jumbled. And so and sometimes people are talking about like psychological well-being and eudaimonia, but they're using the word happiness, and so it all gets confused.
yeah.
So, what you should be chasing is contentment.
Mm.
Is like the trajectory is upward, right? It's gonna have some ups and downs because that's life. Life is a roller coaster, but hopefully you come out, at the end going, what an amazing ride, you know?
Yeah, I really believe in what you just said and love that. And we do things. We go to a concert. We eat a great food. We visit with great friends. We have these moments of happiness and joy and that's part of life. But all
Yeah.
but the contentment and you know are you living with regrets? Are you always angry? Are you just walking around on eggshells everywhere you go? And in contentment, I love that word, and I'm going to use that because that's really, and I feel like that's where I am
Yeah.
content. Like I'm just helping people improve their lives. I'm content. My son's doing okay in school. He hasn't failed out
Yeah.
yet. My
Yeah.
wife and I have this great path in front of us. So yeah, I'm just highly content, but also I don't want that, the word content, also may allow me to say, I'm not going to strive for more or want more or
I
whatever.
was just, yeah, gonna
Yeah.
say you can be two things.
Yeah.
You can be content and ready for the next thing, want to
Yeah.
keep leveling up. Like contentment doesn't have to mean, and I'm in cement, so I'm not
Yeah.
going,
But maybe
right?
that's part of contentment too in different
I
people's
think
worlds
so.
is how they like I want to continue to improve. I want to continue to do better for my clients. I want to continue to have the strongest marriage and be the
Mhm.
best dad I can be and all those things. So
Yeah,
I'm not content in the way that I'm just going to sit back and rest on it, but I'm
right.
content in the sense that I feel really good every day. And every day is a great day. Every day is my best day. And I just, what am I going to do today to keep that going?
Right. And when it's not like if it's not your best day, what did I learn? Right. And
Yeah.
eudaimonic well-being is continued striving
Mm,
for like achieving that like that best version of myself. How can I learn and contribute back? Like how
yeah.
can I throw the bridge, the ladder back down for the people behind me? What is that idea of not necessarily like what is my life purpose and why am I here, but kind of along those lines of like I'm here. Again, it's not a dress rehearsal. How do I make it have meaning for me? What am I going to contribute? I kind of
Yeah.
like the idea of like my parents instilled a love of nature in me. And so that idea of sharing the trail and leaving the trail better than you found it, I kind
Yeah.
of would have that mindset for other humans.
Yeah.
Like, how can I leave other humans better than I found them? How can I leave this
Yeah.
world better than I found it? Like, that's kind of all this.
I feel like
And
that's
it
kind
gets
of
back
it. I
to
know there's a lot
power.
of people that may not have that in their lives, or may not recognize the value they're bringing to others. But for me, I don't think I could live my life without helping others be their best selves, and I feel like that then makes me my best self. Like, you know,
Same.
like I could cook food and serve people food, and they'd be happy eating my food. But if I could teach people how to cook food, and then they make other, and they like that's sort of my mindset.
Same.
Um, but let's wrap up. We've got
For
we've
sure.
got our final fun thing to talk about. This has been
Yeah.
excellent and amazing, and I'm learning. What's Rachel's big mistake?
Oh God, there's so many. Um,
Well, that's what we just ended on, like learning and
yeah.
improving, right?
Yeah. I mean, so it's funny because one, like the overall, right? And there's been many instances of this, but the overall is not asking for help. I had a lot of head trash to work through.
Mm,
I'll spare the life story, but the bottom line is it made me feel like I had to show that I was worthy, to show I was smart, to prove that I belonged, that I did figure it all out myself, and not just the what, but the how.
Yeah.
And I missed many opportunities to say, I don't know what I want. Like, or I know what I want. I know the life I want to live. I don't know how to get there. Is this the right thing? What I hate this. What else do I like to do? What am I good at? Who can help me figure out what to do with the rest of my life?
Yeah.
And just
So
not
not
ask,
leveraging
oh,
people that have been there and done that,
yeah,
similar to how you and I work with people now, that was something that you were challenged by.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I think it all worked out. But
Yeah. But
you
but
know,
that's the point of the big mistake is we need to go through those challenges and we need to have these high
yeah,
stress moments in our life because how else do we define where we're going and who we're going to become?
right, 100%. And that's why I do the work that I do is because
Yeah.
I've made those mistakes and I want to help people either not make them or kind of get through them faster
Yeah.
than I did.
Just awesome. Just awesome. Hey, everybody, let's take a moment, thank our sponsors, of course, Rankings.io, serious player in the lead gen space. We've got the Law Her podcast with Sonia. Was so thrilled to meet her at PimCon a few weeks ago. What a lovely person, and also great advocate for women around the world. And of course, LegalVerse Media. If you haven't checked that out, go to legalversemedia.com, check out what they're up to. Rachel, people want to get in touch with you. They want to hear more. They want to, work with you. What are the best ways for them to reach out?
On my website, rachelboehm.com is linked to schedule a 15-minute chat. That's the best way to get started. Make
And
sure
spell
that,
Boehm because that's not
oh,
what
yeah.
people think.
No, no, it is B as in boy, OEH, M as in
There we
Mary.
go. All right. Well, this was a long time coming. I think we were actually scheduled like in July, and we, between the two of us, had to rework this. And I am absolutely thrilled that we did, and I'm thrilled that we were able to get all this amazing content out to everybody. And more, videos on YouTube, everybody, on my website, fretzin.com, bethatlawyer.com. Above the Law, we're going to be up on Above the Law with things. We've got Attorney at Work now. So if you check out Attorney, whatever you like, we're the Be That Lawyer podcast is there, everybody. Rachel, thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure, and I'm just thrilled that we were able to get this out and help everybody.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and thank you, everyone. Again, just more killer content to help you be that lawyer, be that organized, and to just be so great at what you love to do every day and live your best lawyer's life. Take care, everybody. Be safe. Be well. We will talk again soon. Are you ever curious what's really holding you back in business development? Sometimes it's hard to see the label from the inside of the bottle. I'm Steve Fretzin, and I can help you grow your book of business. Get a 30-minute free consultation with me. We'll identify gaps, identify your potential, and let's take it to the next level so you can be that lawyer. Click the link below for a free consultation.